this game tomorrow night at Villa Park. Injury list starting to mount up a little bit. We'll get into the predicted lineup, but what is the injury news going into it?
Yeah, obviously, Dejan Kulusevski is now completely ruled out for tomorrow's game, and for the final as well, with that horrible knee injury. We know the likes of Radu Dragoshin has got a long-term injury. James Maddison has a long-term injury. Timo Werner is confirmed now to have a hamstring injury. Lucas Bergvall is out the boot and on grass, but tomorrow is definitely going to come too soon, and most likely the final as well is going to come too soon. And it was also confirmed that Dane Scarlett has had surgery to correct I think it was a knee issue, or I can't remember which one, but he's had surgery and he's not going to be out fit until the kind of pre-season as well. So yeah, that injury list after we whittled it right down is getting back to the previous levels again. And they're all attacking players. So before, apart from Radu, they're literally like early in the season, like all our defence was wiped out, and now all our creative midfielders are wiped out. It's like whenever we have a crisis, it all seems to be in one position. It's just so annoying.
And that also happened last season. Like it seemed as though like it was only one position at a time that we were getting decimated. It's so frustrating. And particularly with the game coming up on Wednesday, we're just going to need everyone and hands on deck, and it's just it's just so frustrating. But look, let's try and predict what sort of team that we're going to put out tomorrow night. Ange was asked about integrity of the competition, and is he worried about that kind of stuff? And I was like, I'm sitting there thinking like, what are you talking about integrity? Like, we've literally got the biggest games of our lives coming up on Wednesday night, and they're sitting here talking about integrity of the competition.
Yeah, they're always trying to get digs. Oh, you're going to try and lose tomorrow, Ange? Yeah, because you've got the game on for Wednesday, yeah? It's like, look, we don't have to try and lose the game, mate. It's been happening all season. So I think that everyone's got to chill. Obviously, we're going to rest players. And he's saying, look, Villa obviously going to go full strength because they're going for Champions League, and so are we. We've got a big cup final coming up, and that's our chance to get Champions League. So, of course, he said he'd be derelicting his duties to not prioritise that cup final. And he's absolutely right.
Absolutely. So, let's get into it. 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. I'm not sure which way we're going to go. But in goal, I think Kinski gets another shot, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I think he deserves it. I think he came in against Palace, did a really good job, and I think made a lot of saves, probably kept the score down. And yeah, I think he's probably worth another start, especially with the big cup final. He's not going to play that anyway. So I think, I would start Kinski here, albeit the last time I went to Villa Park, it didn't go great for him. But
have Spurs ever had like a better goalkeeping roster than this? Like ever? Like seriously, like Vicario, Kinski, Keeley, the work he's doing. I even like the look of Luca Gunter as well. I mean, we've got such good goalkeepers on the ranks.
Absolutely, and I think we've done very well with the keeper situation. Albeit a lot of people are questioning Vicario at the moment, but I think Kinski is a very good number 2.
Let's look at the back four.
Yeah, now it gets
tricky. A bit tricky.
Yeah, now it's tricky.
Well, the goalkeeper was tricky as well. We still don't know for sure, but
so the question is, I think Gray definitely starts. Where does he start? Does he start
I think
at
Gray
right
starts
back?
in midfield.
Or does he? So who starts at right back? Because Porro played an hour against Palace. Did he take it off early because maybe he's going to play this game and he's going to play the final? Obviously, we know Porro's one of those players that's very durable. He doesn't really get injured. He's played a lot of games, but he's going to be so crucial for us.
I think it'll be silly to start Porro in this game, just in case.
With the fact that Porro now, but the fact that Porro played against Palace, that mean maybe we go Spence and the Doggy potentially in this game?
What I would want, me personally, I would want Spence and Reguilon. I've said this for the last couple of weeks. Like, I just don't understand why he doesn't use it. But I just don't understand whatsoever. Like he was willing to use like Reguilon against Tamworth and bring him on in certain games around that period. Why is he not willing to use him in these kind of games?
He just doesn't want to use him and trust him.
Trust him for what, though?
To be part of the team, I don't know. Look, I wouldn't mind him using him personally, if we could say. But if we, I don't think he is going to use him. I think he's going to go with what he's been using for the last few months, and it hasn't been Reguilon. But
surely it's like this game more than ever because we're literally like less than a week away from the Europa League final.
This game is most likely to use him. I still don't think he will. I think maybe he goes Spence and the Doggy because maybe he does what he did last time. He gives the Doggy an hour, like he gave Porro an hour, and he plays those two. Maybe Spence on the right, Doggy on the left. Or does he go just Gray and Spence, and maybe midfield he does something else?
Thing is, like, when he did use Reguilon, he wasn't. It's not like he was even bad. You know what I mean? Like, he put in competent performances. So I just don't understand the way he's managing that situation. But I do think it's going to be Spence right back and a Doggy left back. That's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And then maybe at some point he'll change it like he did last time.
Yeah,
and give a Doggy a rest.
I think the centre backs pretty much pick themselves. So it'll be Danso right centre back, and then it'll be Ben Davis at left centre back.
Yeah, which is interesting because I actually reckon the plan going into this was maybe to give Romero and Van de Ven some minutes ahead of the final, which is what he implied before the game against Palace, that in this game he might play a stronger team. But then after Decky's injury, he was like, I just can't afford to risk any more injuries. Yeah. And so I think that kind of thinking's maybe changed a bit. Well, if he's saying that,
then why the hell would he not use Reguilon then?
Yeah, maybe he will use Reguilon. I just don't think he will, because he just hasn't. But maybe he will. I don't know. I'd like to.
Like, if he's saying that surely that suggests, like, rest anyone that's going to start in the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, but he's clearly only playing players he trusts. I don't know. He just hasn't trusted him.
But there was one point in the season where we were using him a little bit.
That's because we literally had no choice.
Yeah, like, who did we play at fullbacks against Tamworth? It was Spence and Reguilon, right?
Spence and Reguilon. And we were playing Gray centre-back back then with Dragoshin.
And Porro was still fit. He could have played.
Sorry, no, Porro played.
Did Porro play against Tamworth?
Played against
so no
Tamworth.
Spence. Oh, Spence didn't even play.
Spence, I think, was he injured? Or no, he came on. He came off the bench. Came off the bench.
So why did he not start Spence instead of Reguilon that game then?
Maybe we had a game on Thursday. I can't remember. But we were down to the bare bones. But I guess it's not too dissimilar right now. Well, I guess in defence it's not the same situation. But look, I personally wouldn't mind seeing Reguilon because I just don't care about this game. I just don't see him playing him.
Anyway, this is the back four that we're going to go for. In midfield, I think Archie Gray takes one of the spots. Yeah,
I agree. And look, unfortunately, it's not been great from him in this position recently, which is a shame because obviously we've all been excited to see him here. But I think he's just got to kind of ride this out, learn as much as he can, and hopefully next season learn from this experience because he's definitely struggling right now. But hopefully,
it ain't getting any easier this game. This is going to be a Villa team that are going to be bang on it as well with a really hard midfield.
Yeah, it's going to be
Kamara, Tielemans, these kind of players. They're all such good midfielders and physical midfielders as well.
Yeah, and I think he'll struggle.
Yeah,
so it might be great at fullback, and then he might go midfielders. But yeah, it's hard to say which one exactly.
So alongside Gray, is he going to go with Sarr there? Is he going to go with one of Bentancur and Bissouma?
I think Sarr will definitely start, to be honest.
Does he start there, though? Because when Kulusevski went off, he moved Sarr into the 10.
Yeah, but then he changed it again after an hour.
Yeah.
So he changed it quite quickly. Yeah, I do think one of Bentancur or Bissouma will probably start, to be honest. And Bentancur started against Palace, so maybe it'll be Bissouma for a half, and then Bentancur comes on or something like that.
I think, yeah. I mean, we're just, you talk about down to bare bones. We really are down to bare bones when it comes to midfielders. So he started Bentancur last game and played Bissouma second half, so I think it'll be the reverse this time round.
So Bissouma and Gray. So we're going Sarr in the 10 then?
Sarr in the 10, Sonny in the 10, Odegaard in the 10.
Well, if Sarr's not there, then we're saying Sarr's not going to start, and he will start, won't he?
Yeah.
So unless Gray goes to fullback and then we put Sarr there, we're saying Sarr in the 10.
Who else would play in the 10?
I said we have options in the 10, but I'm saying we know that Sarr's going to play. Well, we think anyway.
No, Sarr's definitely going to play.
So,
but I'm asking, in the 10, who do you think it will be?
It could be Odegaard, Sonny, maybe Solanke.
I've got a feeling, actually. I think take Udogie out, put Spence at left back, put Archie Gray at right back, and put Sarr and Bissouma in the double pivot, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense, to be honest. Something like that. I actually think that makes a lot more sense. So, and then actually you take Gray out midfield as well, where he's really been struggling. He's probably going to get over on anyway. And then
I think in the 10, you go for Odebear.
I think it might be. So, if we're saying who we definitely think is going to start, I think Tell will start. And so where does he start? Does he start on the left or does he start up front? Is he going to rest Rishi and Solanke? Is he going to start one of them?
I'm not 100% certain Tell's going to start.
I think he will.
I think he's going to use Sonny on the left, and I think he's only going to play 45 minutes, and I think Tell will come on for him at half time.
So then who's going to play on the right?
Why would you say Tell's 100% going to start? I don't think he's
because
a
I think
dead start.
Because he said he's going to start players who are maybe looking to get game time ahead of the final, who haven't played that much.
Tell's played, hasn't he?
In the Premier League, yeah. He's been in our Premier League team.
Yeah, so he's still played a decent amount of football.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about players like Tell and Odebear. That's who he's referring to, I think. And Gray, who's also played a lot in the Premier League.
I think it's going to be Richie up top.
So we're thinking Richie up top, Odebear in the 10, you're thinking.
Yeah, I think Odebear in the 10.
So then that leaves, what you think, unless you think Mikey Moore's going to start, that leaves Son and Tell.
Maybe Odebear right wing. Odebear in the 10. Maybe Tell starts on the right then.
I think maybe the most likely scenario would be Tell on the left, Odebear on the right, and Son in the 10. Potentially. Maybe switching it up if it's not working, kind of maybe refiguring it.
So difficult, isn't it? Let's go for that then. Son in the 10, Odebear on the right, and Tell on the left. So like that. Unless he's not going to start Rishi or Solanke, and then one of Son and Tell goes up front, and then maybe you can fit Moore in there or something. Obviously, Moore came on quite early last time. He did. I don't know if he's going to start Mikey. I think Mikey probably comes on second half.
Did start him at Villa Park in the FA Cup, but again, yeah, we were down to bare bones back then. And yeah, I guess we're thinking Solanke. Yeah, maybe he's probably going to try and save Solanke for the final. Is
he looking to start Richarlison on Wednesday night? That's
also he might be. He might be. He obviously didn't play both of them against Palace. Neither of them got any minutes. That implies maybe he is looking to start both of them. But if Richarlison comes out, who comes in? Is it Brennan? Is it Moore? Or is it Solanke? It's only one. It's one of those three: Brennan, Moore, or Solanke. If we take Richarlison out,
probably Moore. And that means who goes up top?
Well, Son went up top against Palace, didn't he? So it would be Son up top, I guess. That would be... So it would be kind of... But then who in the 10? Odebear. So it would be like Moore on the right, Odebear in the centre, Tell on the left, and Son up front. I think this is probably more likely.
It's just a bloody mishmash.
I think this is probably more likely.
Yeah, I think we stick with this, to be honest. I agree. Sakinski in goal, Gray right back, Spence left back, Danso and Davis in the centre-back positions, Sarr and Bissouma in the double pivot, Son in the 10, Odebear on the right, Tell on the left, and Richarlison up top. Which, out of those, anyone on that pitch, the only ones that I think are probably going to start are Son and Richarlison and Bissouma. 3 players.
And they're probably
they're not all dead certs either.
Yeah, I don't think they're all going to start.
I think Bissouma and Son are dead certs.
Right, but I do think if, they'll probably start like this, but if it's not working, you could easily it could easily start to look like that. Maybe Son on the left, maybe Tell moves over to the right, Odebear goes in the centre. Maybe Tell will get a chance to be in the centre as well, show what he's about, if he can do that job. I think this is kind of an audition to see who can play that role, I think.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, you say it's a kind of audition to play that role, but it's not going to be like a functioning team. So it's hard to really tell, isn't it?
100%, but you can only go what we can see, and this is the last chance we have till the final. So if we had a few more weeks, it'll be a different case. But we've literally got one game. Decky's just been injured. Obviously, they have training as well, but Ange said pretty clearly, he's going to be looking at this game to see what kind of solutions he can find in that position. Obviously, you could one of the solutions also be playing a midfield three of Sarr, Basuma, and Bentancur in the middle three anyway. So you might not do any of. You might not even have a 10. Could also play Solanke and Son, or Solanke and Richarlison up front with Solanke a bit deeper. So, but I do think Son, Tel, and Odegaard, if those three start, like I think there's a good chance he'll be looking at one of them to maybe play in that 10. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I have to wait and see what happens. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it should be any of those playing in the 10. I really believe it should be a Solanke-Richarlison combo up there. So maybe we'll see that for the last 15 minutes or so. But I can't see it being for any significant amount of game time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Solanke-Richarlison with Son on the left, and maybe even Odegaard on the right. But I think there's a chance as well, like, as much as Johnson, I think right now, he's nailed on for that position on the right. If Odegaard has a great game, he gives him a tough decision to make, in my opinion. Yeah.
It's interesting, like, the two managers, what they've been saying pre-game. So, like, Amorim has been saying that you can't not play players for, like, 10 games. His team selection is going to have no bearing this weekend on the final on the Wednesday. Because if they play this weekend, they're going to be completely fine to play the Wednesday. Where Ange, because of that Kulusevski injury, he's just like, look, pretty much we just need to wrap them in cotton wool and make sure we get no injuries.
Yeah, and that's because it's just how our seasons have been. So I understand it. I guess I don't think you should really be planning for a big game on the basis of planning for luck, in a sense. You should plan how you want to plan, and you shouldn't say, oh, because Decky got injured, I'm not going to play any players. If that's what you want to do, you should do what you want to do. But
if Decky was an isolated situation,
that's the thing.
Then he would have been like that, but it's not.
And like Bergvall just before Bodo getting injured, Maddison during the Bodo game getting a knee injury, like, it's just how our season's been. And we know that when we've got a settled 11, we've shown in the Europa League we can be a very good team, and we can perform very well. But we need certain dynamics in place to have that, and if we lose any of them, we could be in trouble, and I think he knows that. So I just think he's got to do what he's got to do, and he said, look, he's got to do what's best for the club, and what I think he thinks that's what's best.
Yeah, so you would expect that with this lineup that we've got, Son's going to go off at half-time, Bissouma will go off at half-time, and potentially even Richarlison as well. So those three players will probably look to go off at half-time.
And you could even see Richarlison go off like more and move Tel up front or something.
Yeah. So, look, this is the lineup that we're going for. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you think this will be the lineup? Would you go stronger? Would you go weaker? Let us know.